This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 8th day of January in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley, thanking you for joining us, and here is what we're tracking tonight. Confident of winning the 2nd of March elections, President David Granger today told reporters that he intends to name a Prime Minister nominee and nominees for the other ministerial portfolios after the elections. Although the Constitution does not provide for a prime ministerial candidate to be named ahead of elections, it has been customary over the past 2 decades for some political parties to name a prime minister candidate in time for nomination day. But in a brief comment to the media this morning, President Granger said there is a process and he deserves the right to choose his prime minister, who will serve as his chief minister.
I have started the campaign, as you noticed, from the 3rd of January. With Mr. Comrade Ramjatan, who has been nominated by the Alliance for Change. As you said, it's not a constitutional requirement, and I have not named a prime ministerial candidate, but I know what I'm going to do. And my partners,
after the election.
I know what I'm going to do. I reserve the right to choose and nominate a prime minister. I will nominate all ministers, including the prime minister, who is my chief minister, after the elections.
The president acknowledged that the Alliance for Change, which is the APNU's partner in the coalition, has recommended its leader Comrade Ramjatan for the prime ministerial position. At the launch of the APNU-AFC's campaign, Mr. Ramjatan was the only other main speaker, other than the president, and he did so in the capacity of leader of the Alliance for Change. Well, after the comments by the president, the Alliance for Change issued a statement of its own, indicating that while the president's statements about naming a prime ministerial nominee after the elections may be confusing to its supporters, the party is not confused and maintains that its leader, Comrade Ramjatan, will be the prime ministerial nominee. In its statement, the Alliance for Change said the statements attributed to the president regarding the naming of the prime ministerial candidate are a direct contradiction with provisions of the recently signed revised Cummings-Berg Accord. The two sides have kept details of that revised accord to themselves. And the AFC's General Secretary is quoted in the AFC statement as saying that the assertion that the president will choose and nominate the prime minister after the election is confusing to the supporters and the wider electorate. As the president has repeatedly said, there are no provisions in the Constitution for the naming of a prime ministerial candidate before the elections. But the Alliance for Change said it is well aware of the constitutional steps regarding appointments once the election results are known. However, the party is of the view that the process did not change the fundamental agreement that the AFC names the prime ministerial candidate, and the party has named its leader, Comrade Ramjatan. The AFC said it is not confused by the comment, which it noticed has subsequently been clarified by the General Secretary of the APNU. The Alliance for Change said it hopes that the clarity has brought the issue, which was carefully considered and agreed during the Cummings-Berg Accord discussions, to an end. The Alliance for Change said it hoped that clarity has been brought to the issue, which was carefully considered and agreed during the Cummings-Berg Accord discussions. The APNU's General Secretary Joe Harmon was quoted in another section of the press as saying that Mr. Ramjatan will be the next Prime Minister of a new APNU-AFC government. The Alliance for Change's General Secretary David Patterson today said his party remains fully committed to the APNU-AFC coalition and is not expecting any further confusion for the remainder of the campaign. More news coming up in just a moment.
Tired of long lines? Register with MyGTT at mygtt.co.gy. That's mygtt.co.gy to view and pay your bills from anywhere. Enter to win an Amazon gift card worth $25 or a bounty voucher worth 5,000 Guyana dollars when you sign up today. GTT, do more.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95, tune up. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95, tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyana's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Welcome back. On the police blotter right now, the post-mortem examination conducted on the bodies of the young couple found lifeless in that hotel bathtub is pointing to the woman being murdered and the man taking his own life. According to the post-mortem examination conducted by government pathologist Dr. Nihal Singh, the young woman Sabrina Natram died as a result of manual strangulation, which was compounded by blunt trauma to the head. The cause of death for the boyfriend, Kevin Singh, was listed as drowning, which was compounded by the ingestion of pesticide poisoning. The bodies have been handed over to the relatives for last rites. The lifeless bodies were discovered on Sunday evening in the bathtub of a room at the Arakari Resort. The discovery was made by hotel staffers, who became concerned after repeated calls to the room went unanswered. The couple checked into the hotel and resort on Saturday afternoon, and they were scheduled to check out on Sunday midday. However, hotel staffers reported that a young man indicated to them that they would be spending some extra time at the hotel. That was the last time he was seen alive. Earlier this week, the dead man's mother told news source that while she did not believe her son was suicidal, she was concerned about the type of depression-like music that he would listen to. Family members of the dead young woman always dismissed the thought of her taking her own life, since they described her as always being someone who was happy and in the best of moods. While the young man was known to the parents and family of his girlfriend, his mother and other family members claimed that they knew nothing of the girlfriend. Turning now to the aviation sector, the issue of charges faced by Guyanese passengers on Caribbean Airlines has taken off, in wake of that report by the Guyana Consumer Affairs Commission that the airline was milking passengers on the Guyana route with high prices. Caribbean Airlines has dismissed the report and claims that if it is able to offer direct service between Guyana and New York, the prices could go down. But the complaints have not only been about that route. Today, the issue was raised at the review press conference of the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, which holds responsibility for the aviation sector. Public Infrastructure Minister David Patterson told reporters that while there are calls by some in the aviation industry for flag carrier status to be granted to Caribbean Airlines, such a move would be difficult for the government to undertake.
But the granting of that status is a complicated issue, you know what I mean? Because even granting it, there is no guarantee that prices will go down. It's a private organization. The pricing of airline tickets are done by the company. So I can grant you as many, as you would know in life, I can grant you as many concessions and as many agreements as possible, and there's no guarantee that the prices will go down and stay down. Initially, they may go down and it can possibly go back up.
Under the last government, Caribbean Airlines was granted flag carrier status on the Georgetown-Toronto route, and that did very little to alter the prices that the airline was charging. While direct flights were offered initially, those were eventually replaced by flights that made a stopover in Trinidad and Tobago. On the issue of Guyana owning its own national airline again, Minister Patterson said the possibility exists, but there will be the need for that to be done in conjunction with the private sector.
Still, I take an appetite for a national airline, not through government. I want to make this quite clear. It's probably through a public-private partnership. So it's something that's been actively under consideration. I must say this, though, that the travel agents were the travel agents. This is like there are 8. Well, at the time there was 8 IATA registered. I think it's increased now, as well about 16. they recommended that we, as a government, put in a system that is in place in other countries such as Trinidad and those things, whereby that the airlines have to notify the government before they raise their prices. Because one of the things that they complained about is that prices, you turn on your computer and you look away to get a cup of coffee, and the prices jump dramatically, and there's no thing. We, of course, consider free markets.
For many years, Guyana owned its own national airline under the Guyana Airways banner. The previous government decided to privatize the airline to a consortium of businessmen, and it became GA 2000. The new airline encountered enough turbulence in its operations just after takeoff to force a permanent landing. There has been no other national airline since. Well, all that glitters is really gold for the mining sector. The mining industry is making a strong comeback with gold declarations for 2019 surpassing that of 2018, and foreign revenue simultaneously increasing. The announcement about the improved performance was made by the Ministry of Natural Resources on Tuesday. According to the ministry, the gold declarations for 2019 reached 634,905 ounces, which represents an increase of 18,682 ounces when compared to the previous year. The Guyana Goldfields Company and Troy Resources were the two large-scale investors, which, despite severe challenges and constraints, managed to have reasonably good production, according to the ministry. It was noted that licensed gold dealers who purchased from small and medium-scale gold miners contributed approximately 57.6% of the actual declarations. Additionally, the revenue earned by the Guyana Gold Board on behalf of the government also increased. In 2019, the Gold Board's revenue amounted to $111.9 million, indicating an increase in earnings by more than $11 million. The Natural Resources Ministry has commended miners who made declarations despite the challenges and constraints faced in the industry, which included the prolonged wet season and labor unrest. The ministry is hoping that the growth in the industry will continue in this new year. Well, let's tell you now that the returning officers for the March 2nd elections were sworn in today at the Guyana Elections Commission and reminded of the job that they have to do. Chief Elections Officer Kate Lowenfield reminded the new returning officers of the need for them to be efficient.
These ladies and gentlemen, commencing with the returning officers, they have sworn to ensure that the duties as prescribed in the Representation of the People's Act 103 will be adhered to the letter as they strive to operationalize the efficient conduct of elections 2020. I am heartened by the fact that you are all part and parcel of the GCOM family, and therefore you would have intimate knowledge of your respective areas, the understanding as prescribed in the law of all the statutory requirements that must be satisfied towards the conduct of those elections.
And the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission, retired Justice Claudette Singh, today dismissed reports that the National Register of Registrants was being tampered with. She said that is simply not true.
I have seen this document. There's a document, I understand, it's on Facebook, tampering with NRR at GCOM. No one is tampering with the NRRDB at GCOM. And they went further to see as if GCOM wants to rig the election. One commissioner went that far. GCOM does not wish to rig any election. What is being done is just that persons. Now, let me go back to the house-to-house process. In the house-to-house process, we discovered there were three categories of persons. Persons who were already registered, all those persons who were previously registered. These are not new registrants. These persons' names would appear on the their names appeared on the preliminary list, because the preliminary list was extracted from the NRRDB.
With nomination day set for Friday, the Guyana Elections Commission has been busy with its preparations. Over 600,000 persons are listed on the revised voters list, which is currently being displayed across the country for scrutiny. While accepting the credentials of the new Australian High Commissioner to Guyana, President David Granger today expressed sorrow at the ongoing wildfires in Australia, which have devastated the country and claimed lives.
We have been deeply saddened, and I express my sincere condolences on behalf of the government and people of Guyana. The loss of life and the destruction caused by the continued bushfire in southeast Australia. Climate change threatens human habitation everywhere, and our global efforts must be accelerated to mitigate its impacts. Guyana itself is a low-lying coastal state and is threatened by global warming and rising sea levels along the Atlantic coast. Guyana also is part of the Guyana Shield, and we are aware of the recent fires in the Amazon region of neighboring Brazil.
The president said as a low-lying coastal state, Guyana is also threatened by global warming and rising sea levels along its Atlantic coast. He said the country is also aware of recent fires in the Amazon region of neighboring Brazil. The new Australian High Commissioner, Bruce Lendon, accepted the president's condolences and expressed the need for Guyana and Australia to continue working together in several areas.
We would value your presence in the forum and the opportunity to learn from your perspective and your needs. As Australia's High Commissioner to Guyana, I look forward to working closely with you and the Government of Guyana to enhance the strong relationship between our two countries and to help each other achieve our mutual goals.
Guyana and Australia have shared diplomatic relations for more than 40 years. Across the region is coming up next.
They've made a positive impact on the heavy-duty transportation industry in Guyana since they've arrived. Guyanese are amazed at their power, durability, efficiency, and superior handling capabilities. These are brand new trucks, manufactured in partnership with German, Italian, and French companies. They have a powerful reputation for operating under very adverse Guyanese conditions and come with full after-sales service and spare parts. They're the most sought-after trucks today, with over 500 units in Guyana, and they're available in over 100 countries, including South America and the Caribbean. Be smart. Buy brand new ST Howo trucks today. Call 608-4998 and arrange for an inspection at ST Truck Guyana Incorporated, Block B, Public Road, Coverden, East Bank, Demerara.
Tired of long lines? Register with MyGTT at mygtt.co.gy. That's mygtt.co.gy to view and pay your bills from anywhere. Enter to win an Amazon gift card worth $25 or a bounty voucher worth 5,000 Guyana dollars when you sign up today. GTT, do more.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes.
Across the region right now, there have been chaotic scenes at Venezuela's National Assembly, with opposition leader Juan Guaido gaining access to the legislative building after a tense standoff with the police. National Guards in riot gear had formed a cordon around the building, but Mr. Guaido and another 100 opposition lawmakers broke through that cordon. The move comes 2 days after Mr. Guaido was prevented from attending a vote to re-elect him as Speaker. He called it a parliamentary coup. On Tuesday, Mr. Guaido arrived at the National Assembly building in a convoy of cars and buses carrying 100 lawmakers who back his re-election as Speaker. They were led through a number of checkpoints but not through the cordon of riot police surrounding the building. A tense standoff ensued. About 30 minutes amid shouts of "This is not a military barracks" and "The people rule, not the military," Mr. Guaido and his supporters pushed their way past the guards. The U.S. Embassy in Barbados in the Eastern Caribbean has put U.S. citizens on alert as a result of heightened tensions in the Middle East. The tensions refer to the assassination of Iran's military commander Qasem Soleimani, carried out on the order of U.S. President Donald Trump. Iran has vowed to take revenge for his death. As a result, the U.S. Embassy based in Barbados, and which also has a responsibility for the Eastern Caribbean, issued a security alert on Monday, warning its citizens. The alert advised U.S. citizens to take a number of precautions, including to keep a low profile, be aware of their surroundings, stay alert in locations frequented by tourists, and to review their personal security plans. They should also have travel documents up to date and easily accessible, the report said. And finally tonight, international news. U.S. President Donald Trump has said Iran appears to be standing down after it targeted air bases housing U.S. troops in Iraq in a televised address from the White House today. Mr. Trump said no U.S. or Iraqi lives were lost in the attacks, and the bases suffered only minimal damage. The Erbil and Al-Assad bases were attacked early on Wednesday local time. Iran said it acted in retaliation after the assassination of its top Iranian general Qasem Soleimani last week. The U.S. drone strike targeting him and Iran-backed militia figures in the Iraqi capital of Baghdad was a major escalation amid already deteriorating relations between Iran and the U.S. Iran's supreme leader described the missile attacks as a slap in the face for the U.S. and called for an end to the American presence in the Middle East. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting.